Well, I think the People's Progressive Party will be celebrating its 1 year in office since it took power on August 2020. Um, there is reasons for us to mark this occasion, and we should also remember that this first year should anniversary should have been because they hadn't been for the attempt of APNU AFC by trying to derail the electoral process and to rig the elections. The results of the real results of the election came out till after 5 months, and therefore it was only on the 2nd of August 2020 that the new government took office. So despite that setback, despite the fact that the People's Progressive Party would have inherited an economy that was actually ruined, despite the fact that we would have also took office at the time when the coronavirus started in Guyana. In fact, the 10th of March, the first case of coronavirus was registered here in Guyana. And of course, considering the floods that we would have recently had, still a lot of things are happening. And this can show that the investors, both foreign and national, these people have confidence in the new government, and that is why we would have seen so much interest being shown in development. Presently, we have a lot of infrastructural program ongoing. We have some finished. We have foreign investors indicating their interest to come and to invest in hotels, they have interest to invest in onshore facilities and to make things even better. Recently, ExxonMobil would have announced that there is much more, there are findings of other wells that can increase the amount of fuel crude that can be produced here in Guyana. And I think the infrastructural drive is both physical and social, because schools, hospitals, and things like that will be getting improvement. In fact, in Saudi, right here in Esquiva, the Saudi hospital, at Saudi, we expect to have a smart hospital which will cater for better facilities, cater for patients, and in view of the COVID situation, that will help also with patients who have to be treated for COVID. But importantly also, despite all these difficulties that we would have experienced, we would have also seen the infection of the coronavirus on our people, and the effort. What is glaring is the effort of the government and the Ministry of Health in tackling this problem, and we could have seen the efforts they would have made to try to get vaccines to ensure that we can vaccinate our people so that we can reach a stage of herd immunity. This is remarkable, and I think as a government just in office for about a year, the progress that has been shown to take care of its people. We have to remember also, because of COVID and the difficulties and hardship, the government would have also distributed $25,000 cash to each household. We would have even recognized that on the manifesto promises, the VAT that was placed on essential and basic items by APNU AFC was removed. The VAT on water was removed. The school children cash grant was restored and even increased, as well as the uniform allowance. And so all of these are things which a government within 1 year is handling. To add to that also, when you can think about a government that has its people at heart, the flooding that recently occurred, the outreaches of our ministers in all the regions in the water, going to see how people were affected and offering support and help to them is remarkable. For this, I think that the government did well for its first year, and I'm certain that they will continue even better after we would have managed to come out from the effects of the pandemic. And also, importantly, we should also look at the government's effort to revitalize the traditional sectors in our economy. For example, trying to actually open all the closed sugar estates and trying to get people employed. They would have even started the process of employing some of these sugar workers who were sent home. Coupled with that, we would have seen the massive work being done in the housing sector to create housing schemes and to allocate house flats to people. And in this process also jobs are being created. So I think all in all, the People's Progressive Party from August the 2nd, 2020, marking its first year in office, has done remarkably well.
My name is Vilma De Silva, Regional Chairperson of Region Number 2. Excited to highlight our one-year achievement since we took office. From our manifesto as we campaigned, I can now highlight some of the achievements that was made within the first year, which we ought to be very proud of. When we got into office rather, because we were supposed to be in office since the 3rd of March, as you would have known, but we had 5 months of challenge, and I would say a little bit of bullyism also. But nevertheless, we were successful in August the 2nd, 2020. Just to highlight, when we took office, the amount of challenges that we had, of course, we had COVID-19 came on board, also flooding. Nevertheless, we're strong and we made strides. To highlight a few, we campaign on housing for our residents. We were able to allocate 700 house lots within the first year, which is remarkable. We upgraded streets and roads to asphalted road, which is a big plus for Region Number 2. We also had our scholarship program awarded in order for us to build our human capacity. We also have our fiber optic cable on stream to provide reliable internet service in our region. And we will be providing hotspots right across Region 2, all riverine areas and the hinterland areas will be accessing this facility. We have also given cash grant to help to mitigate the economic challenge faced with COVID-19. Our residents were so grateful for that. We also restored the Because We Care cash grant for our school children that was taken away from our school children under the previous administration. That also is a plus and brings smile on the faces of parents and students in our region. We also have a brand new radio station to aid in our communication and to reach out to the rural communities. This is a plus for Region Number 2. We also support our residents with a monthly supply of food hampers since we were affected with the flood. All the residents that the flood had impacted is benefiting from this service because the flooding situation and before persons to go back to the farmland, it's months. So we are prepared to give that support on a monthly basis until our president declare what support he will be giving to the farmers. So we will support our people with the food hampers in the meantime. We also gain confidence from investors who are willing to invest in our region. We have 4 such investors so far, which we will be announcing later. But they have confidence to invest now because of the competence of our government. All sectors, we have seen changes and transformation. Health, education, infrastructure, social services, the local government arm, agriculture, natural resources, tourism, all sectors, we have improved. Excuse me. And all this progress, we must applaud our president. This is a testimony to the astute leadership of our young, dynamic president and his dynamic ministers. On behalf of Region 2, I would like to congratulate and compliment our government for the work that they have done for our region and for the entire country, because what we have benefited in Region 2, we have seen such development right across Guyana. And shortly, this is only 1 year, and believe you me, you would see within the next 4 years the transformation that will be taking place. It would be tremendous, and every single citizen in Guyana would be extremely happy and delighted to enjoy a good country. Not forgetting the previous administration, they used to single out areas that they would support. Our government is not doing that. They are for the people, and we are for all Guyanese, whether you voted for us or you did not. And I am appealing to our residents, have confidence, continued confidence in our government, the People's Progressive Party government, and we will all enjoy a better Guyana. Thank you.
I am the Regional Vice Chairman of Region Number 2. So I'm happy to be part of this clip to highlight some of the things that our government would have achieved with the first year in government. This is important because we can recognize all the good things that would have happened, build confidence in the residents of Region 2, who would have entrusted a good progress, and most of all, many projects that were on stream would have bring tremendous benefits to all the residents in Region 2. We are happy that whatever we would have achieved was because of a prudent management and good leadership by our President, His Excellency Mohammed Irfan Ali, and his cabinet. The progress for our region would have indeed one of remarkable that brings so many confidence to the leadership, all because of our guidance and that which we have promised our residents through our manifesto to deliver the services that are needed for a better region. And so that is why in the agriculture sector there were many achievements for our farmers in Region 2. There were many roads, access dams that were rebuilt, and yet there are more to come in the 2022 budget. Sluices that were not operating, we get them to operate it during this 1 year period. Added to that, so we have some structures that we would have achieved to bring relief to rice farmers in the backlands. Sluices, pumps, those are great achievements for rice farmers. The Dartmouth sluice, which we would have been contracted to a contractor, work started there, and so because of the deterioration of the structure there would have caused for flooded from the ocean into the drainage system. So that is an achievement for us to do a new structure within this 1 year. Similarly, in Lima, there's another $60 million that we'll be spending there to redo a structure that will help water not to return back into the irrigation system. So all of this has been happening because we want to bring relief to rice farmers. There will be 3 new pumps that will be installed before the year out at Plantation Andrews. That is a great achievement. Rice farmers, cash crop farmers will see the great benefit of water being released from the farmland. Whenever the sluices are locked, the pumps will operating to continue to bring relief and for water to recede from the farmlands to the outfalls. Hampton Court also, we would have opened up a new coca there, which were inoperable for almost 3 years. That sluice is now operating, which helped in that particular area in Hampton Court to bring relief to rice farmers. Kapui, that structure would have taken an approximately 40 degrees falling into the Atlantic, and we recognize the importance of this structure to bring relief to rice farmers in Queenstown, Kapui, Affiance area. And so it is approved for a new structure to be built there that again will help to receive water in the farmlands and at the same time will help to bring relief to the Kapui Conservancy. So all of this together, rice farmers will be benefiting for a most manageable water system in our region and will allow rice farmers to do a better block farming. And this is what we intended to do. So our achievements in the outfalls and pumps is a great lot for us in our region. In some areas in our region too, we recognize that for over 20-40 years some of these canals were not desilted nor were they repeat. So for example, like the Adams Creek in the Manukuru area, in Jones Canal in the Palm Road, in Cap Canal, in Hope and Success Canal, Friendship Connect canals, and so all of these canals were desilted with the heavy vegetation. Farmers in those areas now easily can go back to the farm and have a better drainage, and they can have a better livelihood in those farming areas. Friendship was a well flooded areas whenever there is rain, and so this area, we understand residents would have moved out, and because of this, which we are trying to bring a better drainage in the area, would have bring back confidence for them to go back to the farmland. And so this is a continuous thing that we plan to do across the region. Desilting drains that can help bring relief to cash crop farmers, and at the same time install some structures. Palm Lower Palm and Upper Palm we'd have spent $45 million to do revetment and installation of black tubes to farm the farmers in the areas. Because we understand because of climate change you will have intensive rainfall, and for us to manage the heavy rainfall, rice farmers will have to have certain infrastructure in place. So through the Ministry of Public Works, we would have installed 40 tubes in Lower and Upper Palm Road with revetment that can help to manage the heavy rainfall for water to recede very fast from the farm into the Pomeroon River. This will be a continuous program so that cash crop farmers in Pomeroon can have relief and they can manage to go back to the farmland with much more profit to come. So agriculture is an important aspect for us. Livestock department, we are in the process of identifying more lands to encourage more livestock farmers. Recently, we would have awarded contracts for the development of the Charity dump site, and while that is happening, there is also a plan that is in place where the advertisement is out to upgrade a new site, and that is the Zagram area, the rear of Zagram. There's a 150 acres of land that will be used for solid waste disposal. So while we identify that areas to be developed, and which will be developed before the year out, there will be other infrastructure that will benefit persons who are doing farming in that area. What are those infrastructure? One, it will be a road that linked from the public road of Zargam down to the main canal, and then from the main canal there will be a structure across the canal to connect to the road in the rear of Zargam to the farmlands. So that road will be done as an all-weather road that will help not only cash crop farmer or person that will be dumping the solid waste at the dump site, but it also will help rice farmers to access the rice land. So that is a major project and achievement for us in Region 2, and it will encourage more persons to go in that area to do farming and maybe other crops that the soil will permit them to do. So solid waste disposal is one that would have caused persons to dump the solid waste at different areas or unauthorized areas. So we want to disallow that and allowing them to dump at a site that will be gazetted for solid waste disposal. Great achievement for Region 2. So while that is happening at the solid waste unit department, we also have some roads that we'll be doing before the year out. And one of it is the Market Road. That is a road that will be done with 18 feet width going western, and will allow a quick access for persons that will be accessing the the Anno Regina market, and as well person living rear to the Anno Regina 4 scheme and at the second scheme. So that will be going in asphalt. Likewise, the Bell Street Road in Anno Regina will also be going in asphalt. So we're moving away from having roads being done with DBST and crusher run, and doing it now with asphalt, because we want to reduce the maintenance costs in the future and to do road that will have durability and can last for a very long time. So the less maintenance we have, it will be better for us. Every year we will be putting in almost 15 roads to be done with asphalt. So I estimate that within 5 years we'll almost finish all the network road with asphalt. Public Works will also be doing some other roads with asphalt, and that is, one of it will be the Mashabo Road. Part of it will be done in asphalt. The East Street in Zorg will be done in asphalt. East Street in Columbia will be done in asphalt, and there will be a part of the Westbury Road that will be done in asphalt. And so this is a great achievement for us. this is a great achievement within 1 year as a government. In Region 2, we are proud to say that all these achievements are remarkable for us. So while roads will be done in asphalt, we have our solid waste site that will be developed. We have all our sluices that will have put in new structures and pumps that will be operating, new pumps that will be coming. We also will be doing the charity market in a 2 phase, and it already advertising for persons to supply material to do the first hanger shed, where persons that are now selling on the roadside will be occupying stalls under that shed, and it will be in an organized way, not to have people selling in a haphazard way. So it will be organized in such a way that grain separate, clothes separates, haberdashery separate, dry goods separate. And so that is how we want to organize that new market in charity, and likewise in other areas we will be doing that in the future. So this is a long outstanding work for us, and I must say that with the interest of our government and our region, all of this organized way of vending, we want to fix it and put it in a right perspective so it can attract persons to see a better way how they can buy whatever they needed in a healthy environment. So the charity market, that is one of our achievement for this year. In the field of sports, right? So sports is an important part in bringing persons, bringing youths, bringing people from all cross section, region together, and that is why it is important for us to continue to bring such a discipline in our society through sports. Our Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture would have given us in this region, in the emergency budget, $6 million for 5 grounds, and they would have used it to do a lot of upgrading. And then for this year, 3 other grounds would have received $10 million each, and this will be used again to upgrade facilities and the environment in those 3 grounds. Our minister is eager to see that sports is being developed in our region, and it is our intention too that all disciplines in sports being promoted in a different level and in all level. And so restructuring the whole sports department, the whole aspect of promoting sports is important to bring rescue to some of the illegal things that is happening in our small communities. So when these 3 grounds will start the work, next year some other grounds will be receiving some other funding to do similar upgrading to the facilities. So local government, over the past 5 years, there was a small subvention that were given to all the NDCs, which is $3 million. And we know that with our new government in place, that would have increased to $5 million. And this would have helped the NDC to do much more maintenance work within the residential areas. And so hopefully that this will continue to happen, to increase the subvention and all the NDCs. We'll be also having a new NDC office to be built. Well, construction already started, and that is within the Aberdeen Zagreb NDC. So the new office is presently constructing in Colombia. For years now, that office is in a deplorable state, and so we want to have a better way of our NDC staff to work under. So we're having a new office that is constructing at Colombia within the Aberdeen Zagreb NDC. Because of our government want to see people working together, enhance the community, have participation, and at the same time with the intention of improving the environment, bring a cozy level of atmosphere. Ministry of Local Government will then engage in some of the communities in Region 2 for them to form themselves in groups that we call the Community Development Council. And this is something that we would have already seen, or there's a lot of indication of persons coming together and wanted to improve on what they have in the community level. So we would have achieved a great lot in bringing them together and would have allowed us to form 22 Community Development Council group in Region 2. So this is something that we want across Region 2 in the Palm Room that can help to bring community closer together and at the same time to work with programs that can help to build tourism in our region. So Community Development Council is a part of community-based organization where they will be meaningfully engaged to bring people together. Close, thank you. So with all of these achievements in Region 2, we would have seen a transformation in our region. We would have seen the confidence of people in restoring a government that breeds democracy, that are liberated the minds from the bondage that we had over the past year, with the turmoil that exists in the minds of people. And so government, the PPP government, had restored that confidence. And I want to take this opportunity as the Regional Vice Chairman of Region 2 to congratulate our government to take the bold initiative to bring all these services and all these projects to Region 2. And I know for sure that through His Excellency Mohammed Irfan Ali and his cabinet, Region 2 will continue to shine as a region. Thank you very much.
Good day. My name is Imraj Hamandio. First of all, let me say that I'm extremely proud of the achievements of our PPPC government in the first year of office, especially in the field of education with Honorable Dr. Priya Manichan as Minister. One of the first things this government had to do when coming into government was to prioritize and maintain a safe social safety net for all teachers, students, and parents. They did that by ensuring that all teachers receive their salaries while being away from the classroom. As you all are aware, the uniform voucher was doubled from $2,000 to $4,000. Also, just recently in Region 2, we had the relaunching of our Because We Care cash grant, which saw each child in the public school system receiving $15,000. This time around, each child received $19,000, $15,000 from the cash grant, and $4,000 from the uniform voucher. Region 2 alone saw $220 million distributed during the period. Because of the COVID pandemic, which had our students away from the classroom, the ministry delivered to each learner carefully crafted worksheets which were designed by teachers, worksheets that were distributed to learners all across this region. So you had the child in Bat Creek receiving worksheets, you had the child in Akawini receiving worksheets, you had the child up in Bethany Creek receiving worksheets. Also, what the ministry did is to ensure that the website was up and running and functioning. So you have any parent, any student, any teacher from this region can log into the ministry website and access learning resources. So learning resources in the form of textbooks, past papers, videos, etc. to help them during this learning process. All of our grade 6 students in this region, each and every one of them received a study package from the Ministry of Education. That study package included past papers, textbook, all the textbooks necessary for preparation for the national grade 6 examinations, which will be written next week. On the side of professional academic development, because of COVID, teachers had to come up with different strategies to deliver the curriculum effectively. So the Ministry Department of Education engaged teachers in workshops for them to better and successfully adapt to their new teaching and learning styles. Hundreds of teachers and persons in this region benefited from the Coursera courses. Those courses offer thousands of different courses which enable teachers to enhance their skills. One of the greatest gifts a parent can give a child is a quality education. Because of this PPC government, now a child from the humblest of background can acquire a university degree right in their own home without paying a cent, free of cost. That is being delivered to all citizens of this country via the GOAL initiative, the GOAL scholarship program. So we have hundreds of SCPs applying and hundreds of SCPs who would have received acknowledgement letters that they have been granted space at universities to study. Other courses that scholarships are available for. We have scholarships available for the Escuela Technical Institute, for the Guyana School of Agriculture, and for the University of Guyana. Those are also scholarships that people are taking advantage of at this moment. Infrastructure development in Region 2 in terms of education. In 1 year, we saw 2 nursery schools being built. One was built in Middle Sandy, one was built in Ulili in the Pomeroon River. We saw 3 living quarters built. Those living quarters are for teachers so that they can enhance their living conditions while teaching away from their home. We saw one built at Middle Sandy, one was built at St. John, and one was recently built at Mainstille. Only a couple of weeks back, the signing of the contract was done for the brand new Abramsville Secondary School and also the Queenstown Nursery School. So these, in a nutshell, are some of the major developments that took place under the education system in Region 2. Holistically, all of this would have one thing in objective: increase academic performances of our learners in this region, and we have been seeing that. So for me, the education system has made tremendous strides, and it will continue to do so under this PPPC administration.
Alright, so I am Dr. Ranjit Singh, the Regional Health Officer for Region Number 2. I've been in this position for the past 10 months. It is not an easy task, but as mandated and working with the current government, our objective is to make sure that every single person in this region enjoy all the services that we have to offer in the health sector, and that we provide quality service to them. For the past 10 months, like I said earlier, it was challenging, it is challenging. It will continue to be a challenge, but we have seen a lot of improvement in this region. I remember vividly when I took over as the Regional Health Officer, one of my biggest challenges was the drug supply that we had in this. We had a severe shortage of drugs in this region, and today I can safely say that from 45% of drugs availability, we have 90% of availability of drugs in this region now, which is a very big achievement, and we hope that we attain 100% availability of drugs in this region continuously. We have over the past 10 months also upgraded the health sector in this region in terms of provide better access to health facilities and improving the lives of the persons around or in this region. I can safely say that with Budget 2020, we would have managed to procure engine and a health boat to facilitate easy transportation and easy access to our people in the palm room. They would have gotten that health boat with a 200 horsepower, which will be of great help to those persons in the case of an emergency, in the case of where health workers have to come up with their supplies, whether it's drugs or other medical supplies here at the regional burning study. We would have also managed to rebuild our diagnostic center. The roof was like a strainer at the outpatient and emergency department. Right now it is work completed 100%, and the physical appearance of the hospital at the front is pleasing, and also it is comfortable to be there now as a patient and as staff, because sometimes we focus on patient but we do not focus on the comfortness of staff as well. So overall we would have achieved a lot. Not to forget to mention that we would have managed this year in the budget 2021 to procure a water ambulance, which will operate from Parika to Supanam. So it will reduce the hours of transporting a patient, and so it increase the possibility of the patient surviving their critical condition. So I am very happy that the government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Health, is paying keen attention towards the upliftment of the health sector in every single region, and Region 2 is not an exception. And we have been on top in terms of providing services and the basic needs that people require to have a healthy life here in this region. We have over the past 10 months achieved a lot, and we want to continue on the same trend so that people can regain that level of confidence in the public health sector. Over the past years, we had patients going to private places because of the lack of confidence, because of the lack of equipment, because of the lack of drugs and medical supplies. We can safely say that we are ease by ease gaining the confidence of the general public again, where people are coming back to our facility, and we hope that whenever our budget comes again, we will be given a large chunk of our budget to make sure that the people of Region 2 benefit from a good healthcare system. So we have lots more we can talk of, but basically those are some of our achievements that we would have had over the past 10 months. We are in the process of preparing our preliminary budget 2022, and we know that there's a lot in stock for the people here in Region 2. So I want to thank you very much for affording me the opportunity to highlight some of the things we would have done in the health sector. You will see more of them coming, but that is in a synopsis of what would have transpired over the 10 months period that the new government took office.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arnold Adams. I'm the Prime Minister representative for Region Number 2. From 2020 of August last year to now, I wanted to highlight a few things what the government would have been doing for our people of this country, most of all for Region 2. Region 2 would have benefited significantly under this government, and I will highlight a few things to you. The CDC would have ensured that residents across Region 2 that was affected by flood would have benefit with hampers and janitorial supplies to ensure that we bring back some relief back to them across Region 2. So far into the Pomeroon area, we would have already shipped over about 1,500 hampers to the Pomeroon area. And the residents of Pomeroon would have benefited significantly, and they're so happy for what we've been doing. Also, in the Pomeroon. At Kobakobori, there's a Digicel tower that we ensure that is up and running to bring connection to the people from Kobakobori and further up Karwab so that they can get connection with their family in Georgetown and even US and other countries. So the government is moving significantly to ensure connection. Also, 10 new hubs will be in the interland areas shortly. That's under the Prime Minister's office. He's ensuring that we connect because at this time online scholarship is on, so we have to ensure that persons have internet service to get connection for these online scholarships. Also, the government is looking very closely for farmers who would have been affected to ensure that they've been compensated in some way or the other. Our President, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, is working very closely with his cabinet ministers to ensure that we bring relief to each and every farmer that would have been affected over the past few months by flood. So it's now in the initial stage to see what compensation or what benefits they can really receive. But the government will give back to farmers who would have been affected by flood. Also, I want to touch a bit on what the ministry or the Minister of Home Affairs would have been doing since he would have took office for 1 year. The Minister of Home Affairs would have ensured that he restore community policing in most of the communities throughout the length and breadth of this country. Over the past 5 years, under the previous administration, community policing went dormant. And I'm happy enough to know and can say I was once the liaison officer for community policing in Region 2. And when they took office, I would have been one of the first person they would have actually fired. And now community policing is actually getting back to its glory days, where it was, to ensure that we bring a safer community for each and every Guyanese. Guyanese wanted to go to bed when the night comes and know clearly that they're safe. Also in Region 2, we would have ensured that we put down a radio station, Radio Essequibo, so we can ensure that we have enough communication by television, by cable, and now by radio. So we keeping the nation connected with each other. And that is what we're going to continue to do over the next 4 years. We're going to ensure that we bring relief to our people and connection to each and every community, so our people can be able to stay connected with their loved ones even abroad. Because many times, some of us being isolated, you don't know what is really happening with our relatives abroad, but the government now is ensuring that they bring internet service to these communities so that you can keep connected and know exactly what is going on with your relative. So colleagues and residents out there, 1 year now since the People's Progressive Party would have took office, and they would have moved this country significantly. I would have said this, is that what the People's Progressive Party Civic would have done in 1 year, the coalition government did not do it in 5 years. So we're happy, and that is why persons should step out there when it comes to the next regional and general election. They should support the People's Progressive Party Civic so that they can be able to continue to move this country forward. And the only party can move this country forward is the People's Progressive Party Civic. Thank you.
Well, as the chair of the Aquina Village Council, I am really thankful for the government of Guyana. For the past 1 year there, I could see great improvement. Number one is I want to say special thanks to the government for the lighting system that they have put to our school, both schools, even in the health buildings, and so at our government compound we now have solar lights. Secondly, we want to say special thanks to the government even so for our We Care cash grant, and we know that the people of my community, they have really enjoyed that. Even so, as the government have took office, we have received during this flood, we have received some hampers. Approximately, first we get 200, then we get 150, then we get 150 again. Sanitizing things. We really thankful for the government for that. We also want to say special thanks even to the region that they have granted unto us. Let's say our health booth, emergency booth, 75 horsepower with a shed booth, which we want to say thankful for. We also want to thank the government for granting unto us our presidential grant, which we plan to construct a bridge. And we also want to thank the government for granting unto us the $10 million which we have received from the COVID-19 relief. And that's a separate thing, and that is what we plan to do, projects that would bring an income to the community. And we also, our creek was in a bad condition, and we want to thank the government even so for granting unto us $800,000, which we are pleased. Our citizens, they have now free access in and out of the village from the creek, and we want to thank the government so much for that. And we know by doing that, they have great plans even more. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I'm the Tushaw of Wakapo, Lloyd Pereira. I'm one of the RDC councillor also. And first of all, let me just start by saying that we have had some stagnancy over the past 3 years, which truly had affected the village. Really, things were not in place. We have seen a decline in every sector of the village, education, health, and even other areas. I should say thanks to the PPP government for turning things around for us. From day one, we have had a massive development in all the areas. I should start by saying, first of all, that we now receive a spanking new nursery school at Mabel Sandy Primary there at Mora, and also we have a spanking teachers' quarters. These are something that people need to understand, that a government would truly care for people like us. We have had, for the first time, $800,000 to clear this creek. Despite the challenges, we have 3 areas that we do clean: the Upper Wakapo, the Lower Wakapo, and the Upper Koraya. These are 3 locations. But we want to thank the government for putting this sum so that we are able, this creek was in really bad state, but we now have a better access in terms of coming out and going in, which is much safer for us through that money, and we want to thank the government. We have some bridges that we need to really thank the government for. There is a wooden bridge that is being built at Kurimeru within Wakapo, and I think that is just phase 1, and people are happy because during the dry season they have an experience of walking through that stretch of muddy area, but now we'll be having that wooden structure that would take off from the creek to the land. We also are given right now from the regional from the regional aspect of it, we have 3.6 as a project now that we want to again build a new bridge across the Kurimeru Creek that is going to facilitate residents from one end to the other end for health purposes and school, of course. And I should talk about the repairs on the schools on the central, which is the St. Lucian's Mission, as we call it, or Wakapo Mission. This was really, really bad. We have had several complaints. The roof was really bad. Those roofs have been changed, completely changed on the primary school. And people are appreciative of that. We have had teachers complaining over the past, time and time again. That is being done right now. And I should finally say thanks to the government for this whole Because We Care. I should really love to thank the minister, Minister Priyamanik Chan, and I should thank her for really giving her time off in coming to Wakapo, more so in taking time off after distributing the grant and heading up the area called Mairi. She did a very, very good job by just using her time within that short period in Wakapo. And so I want to thank her especially and the president for seeing us through. We also had a tractor, a brand new tractor that is going to boost agriculture. So all these, we put them together. It is going to mean quite a lot for Wakapo, and we would only pledge our full support for the development of Wakapo. Yeah, for the ICT, we are going to have some really change when that comes in, because our students are going to really benefit from that, the ICT program. That is going to be fully on stream. From our COVID grant, we have that allocation of 2 million, which is going to enhance the Prime Minister Office ICT hub. And so we are really thankful about what is happening. This is going to be putting Wakapo, of course, on the map. So thank you.
Hi, I am Ashmini Ramnarayan, Vice Chairperson for the Progressive Youth Organization Regional Committee Region 2. On behalf of the Progressive Youth Organization, I would like to thank all the participants that highlighted our government achievements from August 2nd, 2020 to present. The Progressive Youth Organization Regional Committee congratulates His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali and his ministers for delivering on their manifesto promises in Region 2.